All right. I don't know why I was hired to do this, but I guess it is better than having to do nothing. I, Rohan Kishibe, am here to introduce you all to the JOJOLands FANDUB retrospective, in which the people of the JOJOLands FANDUB project do nothing but talk about their, well, stupid project. For this episode, the Skypity? Really? They call themselves the Skibbity production crew. Oh god, how unoriginal is that? What are they, 12? Please, this generation gets dumber and dumber every time I even hear one of them speak. I swear, what even are these words? Skibbity, Riz, Ohio. Oh god, Phantom tax this shit. Oh god, I'm tired of this. Why am I even here? Anyways, this retrospective is going to look into the production and technical side of creating Volume 1 of the FANDUB. Now with that out of the way, let's finally get this over with.
That was kind of...
Get this over with.
Yeah, right.
We paid a lot of money for this guy to, introduce us, and this is what he came up with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of...
Goodness gracious. Okay. Well,
yeah, he's an asshole.
I just can't believe you would say that, man. Wow.
Oh my god.
Let's get started then. I think we need to move on for that. All right. I think we should start by introducing ourselves then. I am Pettrull. I'm the founder. I'm the director, and I'm one of the editors.
I am Carrie, or Phoenix, and I am one of the editors as well as one of the writers for the JOJOLands FANDUB.
Yeah, hi, I'm Curious Comms, also called Koby by the rest of the cast. I am the FX and audio technician for the JOJOLands tub. I joined quite recently, so I'm happy to be here.
Hi, I am Robo. I am one of the editors for the JOJOLands dub. I do some of the editing. And I was brought on by Carrie only a couple months ago, and I've been, pretty happy with everything, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm Reee. I do some of the shit posts and other funny edits.
All right. And that's our introduction. So, first, I think one of the best questions that everyone has for our FANDUB is, what's everyone's experience with writing, editing, sound design, and what do we think about having this experience? Do we think having experience is a good thing? Do we need it before doing something big like this? And would anyone like to start us off on that?
Yeah, I would actually like to start real quick. Experience-wise, I've been editing for a long time. I ran a YouTube channel of my own where I talk about various things for a couple of years now. So yeah, but I've also been doing YouTube ever since I was a little kid. It was one of the first things I ever really got into. So editing for this is kind of a cool thing because I'm not just editing for myself. I'm editing for a group of people, and people rely on me to do that. And it's a great vibe. It's very reminiscent of theater. I'm a theater kid, right? So I kind of come from that background where something I do is very important because everyone else is also relying on me to do this thing and to do it correctly. So yeah, no, it's a great experience. I've had a really fun time doing it.
Oh yeah, no, I've actually come from a theater background myself, so yeah, I can definitely agree with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not quite a theater kid. I was kind of theater adjacent, but I kind of have not the most similar background. I did a lot of musical production just for fun back in high school. And then I've always just kind of been fascinated with just how sound effects are made. So while I'm not the most experienced with it, like Robo is, I've just always been very passionate about it. And it's kind of come out from just a personal on the side thing to now being part of an actual project.
Yeah, so for me, I came into this project with some experience in basic editing and writing, but before this project, I was part of what I would call my old project, which was a defunct FANDUB, in which I had no experience, and I actually kind of had to bootstrap myself into knowing how to edit and do the things that I currently do in this project. And I guess unlike the other crew members here, I don't come from a theater background. I have no experience in anything related to that until I started doing FANDUB stuff. And so I guess while it's really great to have experience for these projects, like it shouldn't just like you shouldn't be discouraged to not do this if you have no experience. I think it's just a matter of like, are you willing to like teach yourself and like get yourself immersed into it to build up the skills that you need and apply it to what you're passionate about.
So I didn't really have a lot of like too much experience, although there is the YouTube videos that I occasionally made with friends that taught me how to use CapCut kind of like as an editing program. And CapCut's what I use to edit the McBama video. Yeah, it was just that really. Other than that, I just kind of like walked into it blind. So that's kind of my experience.
Yeah. Same with Ree, I kind of came into this head first. I actually was originally buying to just be a voice actor in another thing, but eventually there was a niche and we found it, and that's a story for a different time, but I didn't have a lot of experience with any of this, and I'm actually learning as we go, so I'll be slowly getting better as we do this, so that's gonna be awesome.
We have like different levels of experiences and we just all come together to make just a really great project in the end.
Yeah, certainly. Now,
Yeah.
talking about how a FANDUB is made, there's a lot about it. Carrie actually is one of our main people for script work, so
Something that I guess not a lot of people would know is that we don't have our actors read directly from the panels. We actually like make scripts for them to read off of. And these scripts aren't just like indicating what a character speaks, but like it also indicates the actions that they're doing, the context of the scenes, and additional comments in there. It's very similar to like a script that you would see in a TV production, a movie production, or even on stage. It takes a long time to like make these scripts because we do it based on the official coloring fan translations. So we have to wait on those and also having to kind of read and make sure like what's being described on the scripts are correct. And I have found it really beneficial that when those scripts are written out in like the editing portion of our FANDUB, like we could kind of follow along and use the scripts as reference because sometimes actors would put in their own comments on how they interpret a scene or what like they see in a certain way that they want to translate into visuals or editing.
there's a lot of script writing that goes into this for sure.
Yeah, because you'd be surprised that like I think somebody pointed out that JOJOLands has so much text involved into it and whatnot. Something that I also try to do is that the scripts are mostly written in advance, and so a lot of I think I have it kind of up to like chapter 17. I'd like to say it's just that it needs to have like any final revisions and to make sure that everything like the quality and the texts are accurate. I was actually curious, for the other editors, do you guys also like use the script as well when you guys are editing to see like how your work is done in addition to the panels?
Yeah.
Well, wow. You can go again.
All right. Yeah, actually, a lot of it for me, anyways, is kind of just using the panels. For the kind of ad libs we have thrown in, though, it is really useful to have the script just kind of pulled up in a separate window because it helps a lot with timing. I think Carrie here can say there's been a few times where my timing's been a little off in the initial editing. So sometimes having that pulled up makes it easier to line that up.
Yeah, when I did the McVama video, I mainly relied on both the script and the audio delivery of them talking. So like if there was like a dramatic pause in there, I'd make sure that it was like the right length of time to where it didn't feel like it was silent for too long.
I mean, from my experience with working with the script and then editing the panels going on, for example, I think it was in chapter 4, the most recent one we uploaded. There's this part where Dragona's like freaking out and she's like basically having a panic attack. So to convey that emotion, I zoomed in on her breaths on beat with her breathing to really convey the panic of the scene. So yeah, I mean the script with like that, with her freaking out and me combining the editing, I think works together really well.
When it comes to the visuals, that's where I work most of the time. I am not the audio editor. But when it comes to the visuals, there is a lot that goes into doing them. But really, there is a lot of just doing the same thing over and over, which, while it can get tedious, is also almost, for me, a little therapeutic. It's really nice. Just put on some nice music and just be calmly editing something. The audio always helps because there's a lot of really good markers throughout the audios of where the panel swaps, where this will happen, where that'll happen. It's really nice, really great editing. I believe most of us use Clipchamp when it comes to stuff like this.
No, I think I'm the only one who uses Clipchamp.
I use Clipchamp.
Well, that's because I have you use Clipchamp, when I was teaching you how to do this stuff.
Yeah.
I remember when I got brought on, I was like, yeah, so what do you use to edit, Carrie? And you're like, oh, I use Clipchamp, and I'm like, what? I'm like, how? How are you doing this?
You're
you're like actual wizard with that. I like the edits you are able to pull off with such a primitive piece of editing software is insane. I use Sony Vegas Pro 19. It's a expensive editing software. It doesn't matter the editing software that you use as long as you can get it done, obviously. So yeah.
Yeah.
For me, being on just the audio side, I just use Audacity. That's it. And then I see you guys over here using this, and I'm like, how on earth is any of this? It just works. Yep.
Just like King Crimson. Now let's talk about some music.
Yeah, music and audio, definitely for sure. Is your sort of stuff, isn't it, Koby?
Yeah, that is kind of my area. Originally, kind of when I came on, I figured I'd just be editing the audio, but it's kind of become more of a general audio, sound effects, like you'll hear in this upcoming chapter. I think it should be released by the time this little section is out.
Yeah, it should be out by then. Something that our viewers might have noticed is that the way that we edit the FANDUB is very sound and music driven, and it's kind of intended on that. Our visual editing skills are, by comparison, very basics, and so we're trying to compensate a bit more by enhancing our audio, but also with the way that we edit our FANDUB, it's kind of more like an audiobook in a sense, because we know that a lot of viewers, they like to listen along with FANDUBs while they read the panels, and so they aren't necessarily watching the video while they're listening in. And another reason why there was a sort of push for having sound and music kind of drive the story is kind of based on my favorite director, Edgar Wright. For those who don't know, the person who's directed Scott Pilgrim, Hot Buzz, I think Late Night in Soho, and my absolute favorite movie of all time, Baby Driver. I love Baby Driver so much. You have no idea.
Oh, baby.
Edgar Wright is known for using sound to drive the story as well as pop culture references, which is why you might have noticed kind of in our scripts those improv ad-lib kind of stuff and references to both pop culture and also foreshadowing all that and whatnot. That's kind of because it's inspired by Edgar Wright's style of movie directing, and particularly with Baby Driver, how sound and music basically drives the story. For our FANDUB, we actually edit around the music more than having the music edited around the story itself. That actually allows us to add in other sound effects that would add more context to characters. I don't know if you guys would hear it in the background, but I think in chapter 1, I actually put in a sound effect where you could hear the cop body cam turn off right when they approach the truck. Another detail in terms of adding more to the character, Dragona's bracelets actually make noises that you would hear, and whenever a situation where things are really stressful or there's a lot of movement, you would hear that bracelet a lot more just jingling. And I guess something else as to why we push music and sound so much is because JoJo is known for its connection to music, all the song references, the album references, and I think the anime has some of the best sound design by far.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a bit of an expectation where if you're going to do something related to JoJo, you got to be really good at the audio editing and prioritize that more. Do you guys think that we should shift less on that prioritization and focus more on like the visuals, or do you guys think that it's a good idea that we are kind of focusing more on the audio side of things for this stand up?
I like the
I
focus.
think the focus on audio is probably best in this situation, honestly.
Really good audio editors.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, Koby right there. Koby is the GOAT, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Dude, there were times where like you and Robo where you guys would take a scene a certain way and I would be like, I did not think about doing that. That's actually really genius. And so you guys have really opened up my mind to like how scenes could be produced and all that stuff. And especially with sound too. You'd be surprised there were like moments where like I thought maybe, okay, this is a good detail. I don't think there's anything else is needed. And then Koby, you added some stuff in. I was just like, actually, wait, where has this been all my life? This is genius. And I guess adding as well to like having music drive the narrative. I know that there were a couple people who are like, oh, you guys had some like pretty cool music choices. For those wondering how we choose the music, I mean, most of it like we choose based on what suits our needs, but I think I have a priority as to like where to find the music. The first being like music that's like specifically for JOJOLands, like JOJOLands inspired soundtracks that are made by JoJo fans. And then from there, if I can't find anything that would fit, I would look at to JoJo anime music from our Lord and Savior Yugo Kano. And then I would also, yeah. Dude, Yugo Kano is just amazing, honestly. And then from there, find music from other media, like other anime, video games, TV shows, and whatnot. Like a lot of the times, the music that are fan made, they don't necessarily have to come from JoJoLands. They might be like fan made music that are from different parts or songs that are made with a different context. It's just whatever really vibes with our needs. And there are a few cases where we did choose music based on what the actors prefer. And that's like in, for example, character themes. We would ask the actor that particular scene that this is based on, like, hey, is there a theme that you particularly like from here? And I don't know why. We've been so lucky to like actually find music that exactly fit our needs and whatnot. Like I would just be like, oh man, like how do I fit this scene? And then I just go through like the artists that we already have and see what music that we haven't used it. And I'm like, wait a minute, that actually works. I like it. We're using it. And what's funny is that some of them actually ends up being permanent fixtures into our fandom, like the little motif for the lava rocks.
That's probably my favorite part of the little mini song thing. I love it.
Yeah. And also, I just want to take this moment to like give a shout out to the JoJo fans who actually made like the JOJOLands soundtrack that we've been using. And so first, like in no particular order, Julian BLVT, I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but Julian's Jodio theme is the one that we actually have been using for this FANDUB. The first time I listened to it, like up until that point, I was like, this sounds really different from all the other Jodio themes that I've listened to. And I think we were like, Pettrull, you and I, we were like trying to choose between Julian and another person's theme for the FANDUB, and it was a really tough choice. But in the end, we went with Julian.
Yeah, Julian's is just amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I hope we can definitely find some more music from him to use. Another, I guess, JoJo like artist, Gwen. I've used Gwen's work in like a past project, but Gwen has made so much amazing JoJo music, especially for her Steel Ball Run inspired soundtrack and her What If Requiem series.
God.
I've noticed with Gwen's music that we often use it like when we need a scene to like start or end with a bang. I think Mateos actually chose Gwen's Paco's theme for Paco's character. Another artist, MCFC, who not only has made a bunch of music, but specifically made an entire soundtrack just for the JoJoLands that we've actually been choosing from. And I think both Usagi and Dragona's theme were chosen from MCFC. I'm hoping to use as much as of their JoJoLand soundtrack as possible because it's just been amazing, like what they've come up with. Two other artists that admittedly we haven't used as much compared to the others, but I'm really hoping to find an opportunity to use more of, Lucas MP3 and Fachi Marin. Lucas did the Honolulu theme, I think, for chapter 1. I really like how Lucas he did a really completely different take on a lot of the music that I've heard of, and it's really refreshing to hear those takes. Fachi it was actually Fachi's JoJo's theme that we were trying to choose between his and Julian's for in the end. But we did use that theme for like our trailer for chapter 1, and I'm hoping for the opportunity to possibly use Fachi's music more often, because I know there's like a couple that like he's done. Like he did the Charming Man theme, I think. I have to remember what that exactly sounds like. I'll send that to you. And then last but not least, Shio OST, who I think we've used the most out of. I really love Shio's JOJOLands inspired soundtracks. It's actually Shio's music that has been the more permanent fixture in our fandom, like the lava rock motif, that psychopath music used in chapter 2. That's all Shio. And so I think that's all like the artists that we've used that has made JoJoLands music that we've used, if I recall. Right? Am I missing anybody?
I don't think so. But anyways, if we did, y'all are still awesome, no matter what. We have got just these people are amazing, and always be creative with your songs. Make music you want to make, because it's always really good.
And I guess for anybody who is an aspiring musician who's like, I don't know if I should make JoJo music or like something for the JoJoLands, I say just go for it, because honestly, one of my absolute favorite things to do for this fandom is to find new music to use. And oftentimes a lot of like the music that we end up finding are like things that we didn't expect to find and whatnot. And so who knows if like I end up stumbling across your stuff and next thing you know, I'm commenting, hey, can we use this for the fandom? And so if this is like, if you need like a reason to like make music, this is your reason. Go ahead. Like, who knows? You might hear it in our fandom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think we would ever make our own music? I don't think I have the skills or ability to produce it. Possibly.
I have some background in like music production. I haven't made music in so long. I could give it a shot, but
We'll have to figure out exactly what type of music that we would need for this particular scene that we would do if we were to have our own in-house music producer.
Maybe, who knows?
Yeah, but I also like the idea of using like fan-made soundtracks, because it allows us to like share wonderful music that we've stumbled upon, whatnot. See, it helps translate the pages into another form of art that we never expected to, I guess, appear and whatnot. I don't know if this is like a very efficient way of like choosing music, but sometimes what we also do is that we would get on a call and we would like have songs that we think would suit a scene, and then we'd listen to it together, have that script on the side to like show like, okay, this is like when we want the music to like play, and oh, there's this other kind of piece of the music that like is interesting that we should add in, that kind of stuff. I remember like I think for chapter 5, me and Koby, we were like, oh, there's this like one part of the music that we used before, but we didn't hear this other part, and we definitely should try putting it in for this chapter. I just thought it was like, I don't know, I really like those sessions, honestly. even if like we're doing it way in advance, and sometimes it feels a little bit like tedious because we have to like make sure all the details are like exactly how we would like them.
yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like sometimes, well, like I can think of certain scenes, and I kind of just run through it mentally, like with the soundtrack we've picked. I'm like, okay, like what would? Although obviously you're the one doing the majority of the editing on that part of things. Sometimes I'm mentally like, okay, like where does this line up, like exactly? Because I'm like trying to think. So what I do is often I read and reread the chapters while listening to the soundtrack we have picked out for any given chapter, and that lets me kind of visualize, and it lets me actually edit a little better. Especially in this latest chapter, we had a section where music kind of cuts at, where like I needed to kind of have the effect cut out. So I found a spot that was like, I started to get quiet, kind of cut from there and move the section I wanted over, so I could fit in an extra like sound effect and just give it a little more oomph when the music came back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's an interesting process. I've got my setup is weird, so I have one earbud in that's connected to my phone that has the music. And then I have another one that's hooked into my PC directly that that I have in my other ear, and I have both playing at the same time.
For me, I just like put it all in a playlist and then I go on my walk and like while I have my phone out, like seeing the panels, I would have the music playing and I just like I don't know, something about walking and like looking at it kind of makes like the gears in my head kind of like turn and be like, okay, I can see how this scene goes. And I kind of use that as the basis to how I end up editing the audio. Or also sometimes, the whole thing where it's like, oh man, like the vibe wasn't right. I gotta restart the song again. So that would be me sometimes too, where it's like, I don't think the scene's going the way that I'm envisioning. Let me start it all over again.
There's got to be a way to make this
It's
work.
trial and error.
But it's worth it to make the best fandub we can make.
Yeah, it just works.
That leads perfectly into some questions for the crew. Just some random, fun little questions for you guys. Number 1, top 3 artists.
Like
That's it.
musicians.
You know how in chapter 12, Jodio was like, to charm me out, what music do you listen to? And charm me out, this is like 3 artists.
Okay, yeah. All right, I'll give mine real quick. Number 1, Prince, favorite musician of all time.
Oh,
Absolutely
really?
love him to death. Number 2 would be Daft Punk. Such a shame I can't see them in person, because they broke up. But amazing group. And then lastly, I'm gonna go with I'm really thinking here. I'll go Hall & Oates. They're an 80s band. You've probably heard some of their music. They're great. I'm actually really surprised. Have they been referenced in JoJo? Whole Horse. Yes, they have been referenced in JoJo. Whole Horse is a reference to them. Anyway, that's my top 3.
No, I didn't realize Whole Horse was a reference. He is?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He's based off of one of the guys. I think it's Hall. Yeah.
That's
Hall.
cool.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. The fun one.
Well, I have to say, one of my favorite artists is probably, this is pretty simple, but Frank Sinatra. That you can't really beat that guy. He is fantastic. Then
Great voice.
I think my number 2 has to be something like Journey or Roy Orbison, and then number 3 is most certainly is Jeff Buckley, who is this very underrated artist. Rest in peace, by the way.
My 3 are the Ramones, The Clash, and Led Zeppelin. I think they're all pretty great rock bands. Obviously, I'm kind of biased towards a certain type of music, but they're real great. Yeah, Led Zeppelin referenced with Ozone Baby in JOJOLANds, and The Clash is obviously the little piranha in part 5.
I'm surprised the Ramones have not been referenced. Kind of a shocker, actually. They're like really good band.
I'm telling
they are pretty
you,
popular.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I wonder, like, if he does reference them, which song would he pick? Because they have some pretty ridiculous song titles. Like, I Don't Want to Go Down to the Basement, Gimme Gimme Shock Treatment. That would be a fun stand name.
That'd be pretty
if
fun.
he does one.
That'd be a fun one.
It would if let's say he called it "Gimme Gimme Shock Treatment." It would also be a reference to the ABBA song "Gimme Gimme."
Gimme, gimme, gimme,
You get it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I guess for my 3 artists, I feel like I'm almost a little more contemporary in taste
Oh no, that's
compared to some. I've got kind of a weirdly eclectic mix. People are going to say recency bias, but Kendrick Lamar is one of my favorite artists currently, anyways. And this isn't in any particular order. If I had to go for more of a classic rock band, I would have to agree on Led Zeppelin, honestly. Absolutely talented, especially the vocalist. And here's an oddball pick. Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh,
Only
heck
concert
yeah.
I've ever been to.
That is a solid choice. Yeah.
Weird Al's great. He has a lot of like good original songs too, like Hardware Store. If you know about that song, really good.
Oh yeah, the tour I was on,
I
went to see. It was all like kind of his original songs, so it was really fun.
Oh, he also did Close But No Cigar, which that one's really good original.
Oh gosh, I feel like I have to include one of like an old band
No,
as like my top 3 because top 3 is like very recent artists as well. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so my top 3. Also, they're not in any particular order because sometimes they switch in and on. BTS, Polyphia, and if I have to like put in like a oldie classic, Boney M.
Well, Boney M is
Boney M.
pretty solid.
Boney M. I blame my mom for getting me into Boney M.
Well, these next two questions actually kind of go together, in my opinion. What's your favorite thing to edit, and what are you excited to edit? I probably won't be the one editing it, but I'm so excited to see the edit we do for Charming Man ripping off the Paco disguise.
Ooh.
That is like one of my favorite panels in all of JoJo. I can't wait till we do it.
I am so ready to do the audio for that scene, actually, because the audience won't have heard this yet, obviously. The effect we have for it, I think, is one of the most, like, honestly, just David Pro, hire the team here, please.
I've heard the sound we do for Charming Man's Big Mouth Strikes Again, and it is fantastic.
Robo, Reee, what are some things that you guys are excited to possibly edit, or your favorite thing to edit?
My favorite thing to edit so far was something I already mentioned, the Dragona panic attack bit. That was my favorite thing to edit so far, but the thing I'm most excited about editing, by the way, I've only read up to like chapter 10 or so of JOJOLands, so don't kill me. But I would say probably the really goofy scene with Dragona and Usagi in like the diamond shop where they're getting framed. I think that scene might be like really fun to edit because there's a lot of just like there's a lot of silliness going on there.
I think we are getting close.
Yeah. What was it? Like chapter?
That's chapter 8.
Okay, yeah, we're not too
wait
far
for
off.
that one. It's gonna be so much fun.
Probably when Usagi's dying in the hospital.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be very fun. That's gonna be real fun. Both
That's
audio
crazy, but
and
it's fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah,
song's
can't
gonna
wait.
be fun too. I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Actually, related to your like scene that you're excited to possibly edit, Petrol, I'm excited to edit the scene where Charming Man like appears and snatches the rock away from Dragona before stabbing.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Dude, I feel like the audio and the visuals are gonna go so hard. And maybe not really related to the FANDUB chapters, but I think my favorite thing to edit so far has been the Christmas album.
That might be one of my favorites too, honestly.
Oh
And here's our
gosh.
last question. What was the hardest thing to edit by far? I'm gonna start with this one because it's a pet peeve with Mr. Rocky. The friggin' like weirdly shaped, like slightly not rectangular, slightly not square panel voice bubbles. Those are so annoying. I have to get like 50 squares because how I edit the covers is I like use a bunch of little white squares and cover them. So I have to make like 50 white squares, and it is annoying. But it's worth it.
I'd say maybe the trickiest thing was kind of part of this most recent chapter in particular was finding a good sound for effects for the cat size string. I cannot tell you how much time me and Carrie spent me just sending random clips of things and being like, is this good? It's fishing line, but sometimes that's the problem with stands and imagining the effects is because they are close to physical objects but aren't really actually those objects. Sometimes you kind of have to go the route of adding almost an otherworldly kind of feeling to them. Part of what I had to do there is I had to take kind of a couple overlapping things like zip ties and fishing wire and just kind of lap them into each other and run them through a couple of like compressors and stuff. Or well, not compressors, but just some like effects in the software to kind of get them to a point where it didn't sound just like, oh, he put fishing line down and then played a zip tie being tightened. It had to sound different than that.
And it certainly did sound great in the end, man. That trickiness was worth it.
Bad for being so anal about like being like, no, I don't think this sounds good. Can you do it again? We were trying to figure out the sound effect for that and whatnot.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the only real tricky part, honestly. Everything else has honestly been very easy.
I would say the hardest thing for me to edit is probably when Araki does these really crazy panels where like the panel is like in a triangle shape or it's like uneven and there's like multiple panels like colliding in with each other, because then I have to go in and cut the panel out into a rectangle. And I swear to God, me and Carrie probably spent like 4 hours on a call where it was just her looking at what I'm doing and being like, to be that guy, but this panel needs to be like slightly more straight. And I'm just sitting here like, God damn it, Araki. What the fuck? Actually, like, just mind-boggling to deal with. But that was probably the hardest thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I was doing the Rohan scene, and I had like a ton of those because it's so there's so many dynamic shots when you in the friggin' Rohan introduction when he's first using Evan's door. It's insane.
But it's what we have to do to get it done, so. Oh well. Yeah, and sometimes like you'll cut it and it will still look kind of shit.
Yeah.
And
no,
it's like,
that's so
bro,
real.
yeah, it's alright.
And once again, I apologize, Robo and Koby.
Nah, it's
No.
okay.
It
You know,
badass. This is a little bit of the nitty gritty. This is going to be getting into the different chapters specifically and what happened really. So chapter 1 was sort of our it was our test run. This was before we even had half the crew. Koby and Robo were not here yet, so it was just let's see how this goes. Sort of start off. It's actually the longest chapter in this first volume, with a lot of different voices, especially background voices.
Yeah, I think it's the longest chapter in all of JoJo because it's 69 pages, and previously the record was chapter 25 of part 7, 65. It was not just like getting the stuff done, but us just getting used to how we all worked and getting to know each other. Fun fact, the first scene, that opening scene that we had with introducing Stanza, that was actually the last thing that was edited and recorded. Yeah, and like I intentionally kept it that way because I wanted to be sure the sort of like FANDUB we were going to be, the sort of style we were going to go for JOJOLands. Like, are we going to go full on make this a very dark and like depressing story? Do we go full on comedy? Do we something else kind of like that? I felt like we wouldn't be able to understand until everything else was edited, and then finally we have that intro. Surprisingly, the first thing that was edited was actually the Iko scene, or Iko. I don't remember which one is the correct pronunciation, but the Iko scene between Dragoda Paco and Jodio. And so it was actually kind of funny just to see, like, oh, let's see how we sound together first using this scene. Also, it kind of gave us a preview as to how we want to show things visually.
Yeah, this was actually also during the Hurricane Helene, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There was a lot of struggle, and this was our first chapter and the longest chapter in JoJo. So there was so much to do. But really, it set the stage for how amazing this FANDUB actually turned out to be. And that actually leads us into chapter 2, where we had so many special guests and cameos when it came to the chapter. It's a lot shorter, so most chapters are after this, so we got a great bit of breath of fresh air after that.
For chapter 2, it went a little bit faster, mainly because of the special guest appearance. Seth, who worked with me on a previous project, actually had like some stuff edited for chapter 2, and I was able to reuse that for this project, and that's why we were able to get it a little bit faster. Another person who appeared, Jonah, for those who don't know, is like the current director and like person handling the Steel Ball Run and JOJOLeon FANDUB, and we are so grateful for the Steel Ball Run and JoJoLeon FANDUB because they were the ones who kind of helped us start this project. And so having Jonah kind of play one of the cops was like a little bit of a nod to like where we originally came from. And then of course there's Kai, who played the DEA agent. And for those who are on JoJoLands or on JoJo Twitter or like JoJo online and whatnot, Kai is a known cosplayer, a very well-known expert in JoJoLeon. I'm trying to figure out, is there anybody else that we also had featured and whatnot in chapter 2? I don't think so, right? I think those are kind of the main 3 that we had.
Yeah, that was the main people. One of my personal favorite scenes, and one of the most impressive when it came to the both sound design and visual editing, the psychopath scene. I was sitting in class and I heard that we actually had the thing came out. Their video came out. So I decided to watch it myself. And oh my gosh, that scene came up and it was so good.
Actually, one of the hardest things for me to edit, I guess by far. And part of it has to do with the fact that I was kind of fighting against myself with just going with the idea I had. Like, part of why I was able to get like chapter 1 and chapter 2, like editing kind of done quickly, is that I kind of have an idea of how I want a scene to go. 90% of the time, what I had in mind translates exactly to what I had, or what I've edited in the final product. And it's also really easy to like adjust and adapt according to it. And I think the psychopath scene was that 10% in which things did not go the way that I thought it would. And rather than like, try to like make things the way I go, I kind of went with it because I think when I was editing Mike's voice, like that part where it's like, can I become happy? I think I accidentally cut the music too short. At first I thought I ruined it, and then I heard it again. I'm like, wait a minute, this is taking the scene into like a way that I did not expect it to go, and I'm going to work with this rather than go with what I initially had in mind. I think it really opened my mind to really realize that our cast as well as our crew have these amazing ideas that we can incorporate into our work a lot more, and it's not just my ideas that are just contributing to this project, but everybody else's. I think that's like super cool about how this scene ultimately came to be.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome to the retrospective. Hey, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi. My name is Mateus Vida. You can call me Matt. I don't know everybody here, so that's crazy. It's crazy to think about that. There's like people in this team that is a legit team. Yeah. Hi.
He's also one of our editors he was our editor for chapter 1. He edited some of the visuals.
Right. I'd imagine that was one of the few things that I would get to talk about in this. And me popping in here is a surprise because it wasn't supposed to show up. Haha.
Well, lucky us.
Yeah, no, sorry. Please fill me in on.
No, you're good.
Good. I mean, like, if you want to add in any comment on like how editing went for chapter 1, we are talking about chapter 2, though.
I see. Well, I guess I didn't help at all with editing with chapter 2, but I did. Yeah, no, pretty much like the very little that I was able to do with the editing was because of Phoenix. And that was in chapter 1, few little moments, and it was hard, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and it's definitely very cool. JoJo's just so cool to work with. It just gives you like so many things to be like, ooh, what if I did this? And absolute props for the people who are in charge of putting the audio together, because that for sure sets the baseline. It gives so much room for like creative visuals because of the audio.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby.
Certainly.
A round of applause to our amazing crew.
That actually perfectly leads us into chapters 3 and 4, which introduce 2 brand new people for our crew, Koby and Robo. So if you guys want to talk a little bit about working on chapter 3 and 4.
I mean, shoot, my mic was dude. Yeah, hi. Chapter 3 was interesting. I joined when that was just being finished, so I kind of only did like, I want to say like 10 panels of chapter 3, but I did something. It was kind of cool. I can't remember exactly what happened in the panels, but I remember it went pretty well. It was a pretty smooth experience. So yeah, I had a good time working on chapter 3, all things considered.
I also had a pretty good time. It was right after watching it was right after watching chapter 2 and just kind of submitting a few things to join the crew. I came on right after, worked on the Christmas album, and then we hopped into, after having a bit of a break, editing for chapters 3 and 4. And let me just tell the audience, Carrie's work ethic is absolutely insane when it comes to the editing. Like, there'd be a section, I was like, okay, I'll get to that tomorrow. I'd wake up, it's like done, and like processed, and I'm like, good Lord, I wish I had that level of ethic.
I'll be honest, like, part of the reason why those get stuff done is because editing is my way of procrastinating my actual work. So it's like, if I don't want to do something, I'd be like, well, I'll just sit on my computer and just edit. I should probably not do that as often because it's like not allowing you guys to like get your work in and whatnot. Maybe I should stop editing.
I mean, it did give me more time to like edit the actual sound effects though, which was helpful.
Yes.
I think it's also a funny way saying ethics, funny way to call it workaholism. Nailed it.
We got a lot of workaholism in this group, that's for sure.
Oh, not me.
One thing that I want to point out is that, like, in terms of like a known JOJOLands fandubs, we're the first to go beyond Chapter 2. There were a few JOJOLands fandubs here and there, but at most it went up to Chapter 2, but we were kind of the first to go with Chapter 3 and 4. And I don't know if you guys felt it, but like, did you guys feel like a little bit of pressure to like do well for Chapter 3 and 4 because of this?
I felt pressure on Chapter 1.
Oh yeah, that too.
Dude, I had brought this ragtag team together, and we were just scraping together everything. It was so stressful. But honestly, at this point, I don't think anything can knock us down, man. We've got this solid.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Yep. Just make sure.
No matter how few days away the deadline that we set for ourselves, and it's like 30% done, we will get it done until that day, possibly on that day.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
no. That was real. Yeah.
Something that I kind of do want to talk about, like you may have seen in like this volume 1 is the sound design for the stand noises and cries. And we talked a little, or Koby talked a little bit about it with how Wild Cat's Eyes is kind of made. But I don't know if our readers are like that very detail oriented. You could actually, like, all the stands actually have an associated sound effect and stand cry with them. Some of them you can, see because they have text bubbles, but others, like, you would just hear kind of in the background and whatnot. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Honestly, it has one of my favorite additions, which is the sound of November Rain's groan.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually ended up being a very interesting conversation where we were talking about if we should give, I believe we decided to give the Hustle a stand cry because it doesn't normally have one. We gave it Mookie. We're thinking about doing that for November Rain because it's a main JoJo stand, so we were going to give it Aura. But we thought about if there's something that may happen to it, maybe it evolves into a humanoid and gets an aura or something like a Muda or something like that. We thought about maybe it's underdeveloped or something like that. So we actually ended up with the sound effect we have when you do actually hear it, which is the rain and then this deep guttural groan, which I think sounds so cool and makes it both extremely interesting and very menacing, which is perfect for November Rain.
So fun fact, that sound effect that we have a different voice actor who did that sound effect, Falcon. Hi, it's been a while. But that sound that November Rain does, Goro, actually is a Japanese onomatopoeia for thunder. And the idea that I had in mind with all the stands, if it seemed appropriate, is that if they didn't have like a written, already chosen stand cry, would just choose from like the Japanese onomatopoeia dictionary. And that's where Muki also comes from, because Muki is the onomatopoeia for muscle bulging. And yeah, it's kind of like a little like fun. I like to add these little like fun like trivia trinket things and whatnot, and seeing if anybody can catch them. Yeah. Oh yeah, and like the idea with like Goro. Part of why I chose Goro, besides it being like the onomatopoeia for thunder, is that if you do say it like kind of fast enough, it almost sounds like aura. And the idea is that maybe down the line in the future, when we have like a confirmed stand cry, or even Jodio becomes a lot more confident in his stand ability, that Goro will eventually evolve to become aura or muda, whatever it is. And that was kind of the idea of why I went with Goro.
I was gonna say that just like kind of how you mentioned, we don't know how perspective. No, that's not the word. Perceptive. There we go. Our viewers are, but yeah, with the stand cries, personally with like Paco, Oh well, I'm biased. Paco's my favorite character because I voice him, Teehee, or maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, I always listen in for those moments because I think I recorded like maybe once or twice, or no, like for testing, it was a lot of the Mookies and different like maybe we do it deeper, maybe we do it higher, uh, and you can kind of just like faintly hear it in the background when it's being used, and just like for me because I'm looking out for that and just kind of like listening into it. Or I don't know if other people can like really hear it, but if for the people who can, I feel like it makes it so much like more menacing because Paco, because of the hustle, has been like pretty damn good at fights. He's been fighting, and I feel like it helps so much with kind of like the menacing to it. If you just notice that like kind of guttural like that just the sound. It's so weird to think that his muscles are just kind of doing that sound.
Actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, but if you guys were to rewatch our chapters, I actually added in subtitles to show all the ad libs that have been used, as well as the hidden sounds and whatnot. And so, just click that little like subtitle thing in English, and you would actually like see like what the background characters and what the other characters and even the stand noises are. Did you guys even notice that?
Oh man, you mean to tell me I gotta watch it for the 48th time? I guess I'll do it.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
man.
I got a bit of a challenge for the more perceptive viewers out there. If you're not using that, I encourage you to try and find which stand does not have kind of like the background noises like we were just talking about. Trust me, it's in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw it, or maybe it's a little bit of a spoiler if you check the volume credits, but there's a stand cry that was used that we didn't really indicate exactly what stand it is, and you don't see it visually, but it's there. Yeah. Now, can you guys guess what that is? I know Koby knows, and I know Petrol knows.
Well, I won't say.
Why don't you
Viewers to figure
go
it out.
rewatch it a couple of times?
Yeah, give us some more
I-
views, guys.
Actually, something else to add with the ad libs is that the idea that it had with ad libs is that, in a way, it kind of allows the actors to be creative. Like, the idea is that we put them in there, and if we don't feel like we vibe with it anymore, we just kind of take it out. But I had this idea that I really don't want to rely heavily on like pre-made ambient music or ambient sounds and whatnot. So like pre-made crowd sounds, or I didn't want to just use just solely that. I wanted to kind of make it a little bit more immersive. And I realized that by having these ad libs, I could do things like reference like currently going on. I can foreshadow events. I don't know if you know in chapter 1, there was a comment that somebody made on the bus that referenced something in chapter 13. And I don't know, I guess for the editors who are the actors, like, do you guys like doing the like ad libs, like coming up with them, or even like reading the ones that we like wrote in the scripts?
Oh yeah, they're so fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of them also we kind of, or I think my favorite thing to do with the ad libs is like to have the actors, for some of the actors, like they use that to also speak in different languages. And I know I've been telling Mateos to speak a lot of Spanish for Paco, and I have it written in the script as well.
Oh yeah, I've come back at the perfect time. Spanish is hard. Shout out to anybody that can speak Spanish. Like it's pretty similar to Portuguese because I am Brazilian, but it's not that similar. Like Spanish has some like different ways to pronounce letters and combinations of letters, words, yes, and saying it fast, especially because usually we want to use those moments where Paco is pissed the fuck off, and saying it fast is, guess what, even harder. So sorry, and I tried my best.
Definitely did well.
Is there like for our editors, is there like a scene that you're kind of excited to edit for chapter 5?
I can't lie. I don't remember what happens in chapter 5. So I couldn't even. Wait, is it the wait? That's the cat fight, right?
No, the cat fight happens after chapter 5. This is the Lava Rock debut.
Oh, okay. I don't remember then, but I'm still looking forward to that. Actually, I'm not editing this one because I'm going to be busy. I'll be editing chapter 6 though, so yeah. Anyway.
You get to
We're
edit the
combining
cat
chapter
fight.
6 and 7.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Imagine this is the first time you're telling everybody else. All the other editors are just like, wait, we have more work.
I only told Carrie. I'm sorry to break it to you guys.
No, we do for the yeah.
Alright.
But,
Gonna have to work a 100-hour work week.
there is one thing I think our viewers can be excited for, since we do have the sound people here. The lava rock sounds. I've heard them. They are fantastic, and I cannot wait for more of them.
Oh yeah, the Lava Rock?
Oh yeah, the lava rock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's something I'm excited to see, I guess because I won't be editing, but I'm excited to see how you guys pull off. Which is the, let's just say, very strong reference to a big meme from part 4.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
I know, and it's like I hope there's so much tension building to it, and it's like wow, and there's like that, if you know, you know, if you know, you know.
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 Those who know.
All right. Well, I think with that, we have almost reached the 1 hour mark on our little retrospective here.
For real?
Yeah, it's 9 minutes till an hour.
So are we gonna like have our closing remarks and
Yeah.
goodbyes, or okay?
We're gonna do our closing remarks now.
Oh yeah, before we do closing remarks, a nose goes to who's editing this retrospective.
Oh, yeah.
The editor of the retrospective.
Whoever's
Um,
editing got to put in an editor note. Be like, guess what? I lost.
Yeah, have
We
fun
both
doing
trust.
all of the awkward like pauses and
Shut up.
whatnot.
Just like this.
Can you just leave like one awkward silence in? Just one. Just leave one in as like an Easter egg. All right.
This one right now.
Yeah.
That you just ruined it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah, we can't keep it awkward silence if we're trying it.
But it fucking worked. I don't know about you. There was a solid
Yeah.
2 seconds there.
Solid 2 seconds.
Dude, you weren't here when there was like a 10-second long one. That was bad. That's when it was at its peak.
I think we should. That's the one we should keep.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right. Closing remarks, though.
Closing remarks. Well, I'll have you guys go first, and
I
then
definitely have one, so I'll be last.
I'll be the first to
Okay.
go because I have to take I have to use the bathroom super bad. So let me just make this quick. I'm just gonna start
Okay.
playing.
girl.
All right. Closing remarks. JOJOLands dub is pretty cool. My name is Jeff. My name is Robo. I'm out of here.
See you, Robo.
Okay, that's fair.
That's nice.
I'll go next because I have laundry to do. Yeah, it's very fun. I'm excited to get to the next couple chapters.
Oh yeah.
Cat size is a big fight for Usagi, finally flexing his intelligence for once.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, thanks for watching so far, guys. Bye bye.
Ooh. It's not obligatory that we leave after
I
doing the
don't
closing
think so.
remarks.
'Cause I have some things I want to.
But it's kind of cool to do.
They weren't
It's
what
all
you
right.
supposed to
It's
do.
all right. We good.
All right.
All right, yeah, I guess closing remark on my end. I'm excited for everyone to see what we do next, and I want to say thank you to everyone who was part of this retrospective and is part of the cast. You guys have been awesome. As someone who is not all that experienced, I really appreciate you guys bringing me on board for this.
Oh, we
All right.
appreciate you being here, Koby.
Yeah.
All right, me next. I guess I just kind of want to say that it is so fun. You know, this whole project is awesome, and just doing, most of us didn't have much experience before doing this. I think the one who did more was like Phoenix. Okay, cut this out later maybe, but like,
No,
wasn't
we're
it
keeping
kind of?
this in.
Yeah, okay, fine. But like, Phoenix, Carrie had more experience overall, I think. But even so, I feel like we all grew a lot, and it was so cool of everybody just being like, we're all learning and we're all just progressively doing cool things. 2 last things. One, we were kind of touching on this topic before. Doing the ad libs. and like viewers hearing it, the people who heard the "I'm gonna take this out on my bitch wife," you guys have sonic ears. I do not hear
Yeah,
it
that
every
one was
time.
crazy.
It's crazy.
Shout
Who
out
fucked
to
that one?
Shout out, yeah, like shout out that person in the comments who even like timestamped it and was like, "Hey yo," and it was like something like that. And it's like, damn, this person is like sonic
Yeah,
fucking
mad
ears.
respect.
And the second, I will admit that there were like two moments where there were some decisions being taken, and I've been a part of like other fandoms before, and still am a part of another, and I was, kind of watching as things developed and being like, okay, this is how things kind of work and stuff. And then there was just like two moments where there were big ideas and there was like, let's do this and let's do this differently. And I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I feel like that's gonna make this take longer. And oh boy. And I am happy to say that I was wrong. I am fully admitting one of them is the ad-libbing stuff. It's now so fun and so good, and like people really enjoy it. And I fully admit to being wrong about it. I thought it was going to be like such an inconvenience of like holding back, of like asking people to do ad libs that weren't, getting people's free time to do ad libs and stuff. It's already hard with main characters. Adding more people for ad libs, I was fully wrong. It's awesome. It doesn't really hold back with time, and it's just great. I was wrong about that. And the second thing is the doing like a volume video where you guys grabbed like all of the chapters in the volume and then posted the full volume, edited a bit, of course. And I thought, maybe, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of unnecessary. And then it freaking blew up, and I was like, all right, I don't know shit. I don't.
Fandub's throwing us all on our heads and in the best way possible.
Real.
It's like three things, Matt.
Three?
That was three things, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know shit. I don't know how to count. Sorry if I spoke for too long. You can. I won't feel sad if you cut a lot of this out. It's okay.
Yeah,
I cut out the part that you mentioned about me. Yeah. Do you want me to go,
Yeah.
Pettrull?
I'll finish this
Yeah.
off.
It's been really great to work with the team and getting to know these guys and appreciating everything they do. And I think I've mentioned this to Pettrull recently, but when this project actually started out, due to like things that happened in my last project, I was actually considering not staying in the project any longer. In fact, like even though I got the role and like I was like maybe I can do this and this, I was actually thinking of like what happened in the last project was just too much and maybe I need to step away. And I think the thing that really let me stay is the fact that everybody here is just so passionate in what they do and so motivated that I realized that I don't have to be alone in this journey, and that there are going to be people here who are just as excited and just as dedicated to the JOJOLands that I can like feed off of and motivate me to like work even harder for this project. So I really appreciate the cast, but also the crew for kind of letting me do this project and letting me have fun with it for sure. Especially to you, Petrol, for letting me like run with really crazy ideas that I thought at first you would not want.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you have some wild ideas, but they turn out right. I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
it's my time for final remarks. I would first like to thank the entire crew for everything they do. This whole crew is completely volunteer work. There's no money involved, not for any of us. And I think that just shows how truly passionate we are for this project. None of us are doing this for any monetary gain, anything other than the art, and I love that. It's gorgeous. It's an amazing thing. I'd also like to thank all the fans listening. because oh my gosh, there's like 1,500 of you. Oh my goodness. I didn't even think we'd break 300. But yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, so I'd like to thank all of y'all. And then finally, I'd honestly like to thank no, he's not here right now, but Mike, Carrie, and all the people who helped me motivate myself to actually get this started and get this done and do this, because this is a big undertaking. It's been so worth it. And with that, I think we are gonna say goodnight. Everybody say goodnight.
Good night. Aloha.
Good night.
Aloha, everyone. And thanks for tuning in to the retrospective for the crew. The
Yeah.
Skibbity production crew, in fact.
Yeah, if you guys like these sort of retrospectives, let us know. Maybe we could do this again for volume 2.
Ooh,
Maybe.
Maybe.
till next time.
Till next time,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah, you did your P.
Aloha.
Aloha.